Hey everyone, Chase Elleby and Joel Williams from Williams Elleby, and today we're coming to you with our final video, I can't believe it, of our 52 weeks of personal injury, video number 52. And today we're going to talk to you about what to do with all the money that you get from your recovery.
Yeah.
And hopefully...
Because you got a bunch of it after watching all the 51 previous videos, right?
Right, and in fact, if you're just starting this video, you need to go back and start at number 1, and then work your way all the way up to number 52. But,
everybody just stopped listening.
Right. But, all right, so hopefully you don't have a large recovery, because if you have a large recovery, something bad's happened, right? I always start off with that. You never want to be the person that gets $1 million because something bad has happened in your life. But let's say you get a decent recovery. The first thing you should do with any large sum of money, especially if you're not used to having a large sum of money, is, in my opinion, to speak to a professional, right? If you've gone to a professional, like an attorney, to help you with your case, if you get a large sum of money, I always tell my clients, go speak to a professional financial advisor, someone who knows how to manage money, to get advice on what to do with this newfound wealth that you've, come across.
Yeah, for sure, because they can give you some really sound advice on ways to invest that money for tax advantages, because you shouldn't be paying taxes on it if it's for a personal injury settlement.
Correct.
And so you want to invest it in a way to minimize any taxes that you have to pay on your investments, so that it can work for your advantage over the remainder of your life. And it's always a good idea to seek out the advice of a professional money manager, and chances are your attorney may be able to make some recommendations to you if you don't know someone that might be able to help you out on that end. I would say another thing to do is make sure that all of your bills are actually paid out of that settlement money. So don't go spend it all before you make sure all your medical bills are paid and all your legal expenses are taken care of and that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly, because like us, for lawyers, from any settlement, we're required to pay any legally valid and enforceable liens or subrogation claims and things like that. But we're not required to pay off all of your medical expenses unless you want us to, and we do that most of the time. But some of our clients say, no, we'll handle it, and we're fine just to give our clients the money to handle those bills. So make sure that they're paid, because you don't want them to go to collections, and then you don't want to get a lawsuit for not having to pay that bill. So that's very important. I would say another thing, especially if you get a large settlement, and if you're getting a large settlement, it's usually to help pay for future medical expenses, or handicap equipment, or something to help in the treatment that you're going to need for the rest of your life, right? So make sure you've got something arranged to where you have that money and go pay for things like a handicap ramp or skilled nursing, things like that. Yeah,
use that money for the purpose of what you got it for.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Another option is just to tell your attorney, I don't need that advice, give me the money. You can just cash out, right, and go spend it on whatever you want to. And some people have the discipline to take that money and use it wisely, and some people don't. So maybe just ask yourself a tough question. Are you one of those people who are going to go out and use that money to make it grow, or are you one of the people that are more likely to see that money vanish in a couple of months? So
yeah, and we saw another thing to consider too, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, is sometimes you need treatment or you need a surgery or something that you can't afford from the settlement, but you can take that money and go purchase health insurance. So that's obviously another option. Say you need that surgery because you don't have enough to pay for it. Use that money you get from the settlement to go buy health insurance on the open market, so that way you can afford the surgery that you need, right? It's not the fun thing to do, quote unquote, but it's certainly going to make you whole or make you better or fix whatever ailment it might be that necessitated that surgery to begin with.
Yeah. And you're not necessarily boxed into any of those things that you have to do. You can kind of take a hybrid approach sometimes, because maybe you need some cash now, and you can take a certain amount of cash out of it and spend it on what you need to spend it on. But maybe if your settlement's large enough, you can take some of that money and fund an annuity or a structured settlement with it, and use that to pay you certain amounts out over however many years into the future you want to do it. And your attorney should be able to put you in touch with someone who can set up that structure, that annuity for you, so that you're not paying taxes and all that kind of stuff on it, but it works to your benefit over an extended period of time going into the future.
Yeah, and then another thing is you might even be, depending on if you have, say, Medicare or Medicaid, you might be required to set aside some money if you need future treatment that's rec related. If you don't put that money away, you could potentially lose benefits because you're no longer eligible. So
Yeah.
another thing to consider. So that's a video for another day.
Yeah. One thing I've seen a few of my clients do before is they were injured in such a way that they could no longer engage in their profession or their job that they were doing before. And so they just took a chunk of that money and started their own business. Something they'd wanted to do their whole life, and they just never had the means to necessarily do that. So they just said, okay, hey, I've got this money now. I'm going to go out. One guy started a trucking company with it. And he's not able to drive the trucks across the country, but he could purchase the trucks and the trailers, and he could work logistics and then hire people to come in and drive the trucks for him. And he's grown that business over the past few years and has done really well. I love hearing stories like that where somebody will actually take the money and invest it in their lifelong dream and use it to, earn a living.
Yeah, I mean, the possibilities truly are endless, but I think it's just important to get with a professional and really think long and hard, and just make the best decision for you and whatever your situation may be.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, we appreciate you sticking with us through these past 52 weeks of videos. This is going to wrap it up. We hope that the information that we have been able to discuss and talk about with each other and with you has been helpful. We will develop a plan for 2023 and try to come up with something entertaining and useful for those of you that follow us. So all our new subscribers, we are very, very grateful. We really appreciate you spending time with us, listening to these videos. I know some of this stuff we talk about is boring and you'd much rather be watching, entertaining, funny videos on YouTube.
I think this is entertaining and funny. So
well, not really, but if there's, thank you for spending time with us and trusting us to give you some advice when it comes to injury cases. If our videos have been helpful to you, please subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up on this video, and stick around for 2023. We'll be back.